going on YouTube? Triforce LGZ here. I thought I just made like a quick video. Like, okay, I was still off cosplay duty. Like after CancerCon's over now, and what's Billy next around that time. So technically, I recently just like got back playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I normally do. Well, Billy, I know I like showcase my cards around that time. Just got back around that time because I just noticed Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional started to reopen now. Everyone's getting back to it. They don't like doing like the Discord like YCS like do like virtual like you do those Zoom duels the other like do instead really do it in person. I mean personally for me I like that. I kind of didn't want to do that. Like I've been off playing Yu-Gi-Oh for like a long time. It's like as a retired player, the facts around that time, it's like did you keep most of your cards for the years you've been playing? Like you think back after the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Like the Duel Monsters era, and you see that many cards have been changed throughout the whole years that flown by. Like after like 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Around that time. Yeah, so Bill, I bet had some efforts around that time. Like, what was it like around there? Okay, so I started out with Blue Eyes. Like, I know when I was a kid, I got a Blue Eyes White Dragon to start out with because I was into Pokemon now with Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll show you it around that time, like what it looked like around that time. Well, this is now, which is like present. And usually I have the original art. Yeah, it's like I'll showcase a couple of my binders a little bit, just to like showcase like the Blue Eyes cards around that time I have. Like this is like really all the stuff I already have around that time. So here's like the first artwork around now. So this is like it's currently now like I started out. I got the starter structure deck around that time. Still good around that time because once you have to keep them on these for a long time around there, they worth a lot of money to do that. Like all the different art. So this was present time when I passed when you kept the cards as they're more valuable to be honest. Like it's more money worth they do when you go on the conventions around that time. And then when Blue Eyes already have, yeah, presently you have like these cards around there. And the cards you picked up around there, it's all like in the meta now. Every deck adds effects. Everyone plays Ash Blossom. Everyone plays Impermanence now. It's like you guys spend like a lot of money on Yu-Gi-Oh cards around that time. Besides, I only just got back if it's like December to duration to December to March I give it because I'm still cosplaying. I still do Yu-Gi-Oh cosplays to keep this content much more so Billy more theme entertain. And buying cards around that time, if you got like a booster box around that time or some tins around there, it depends like whatever it's like recently released around that time. If you have the money to get those cards around that time, man, there were a lot of cards being reprinted too. That's like it kind of loses value, but some of they just got back now in that time. I mean, I recently opened the Max Gold Dorado. I just like show a couple of reprinted cards around that time. Yeah, so it's like Gold Exodia. I mean, yeah, you guys remember the Legend of Blue Eyes. So this is like now when I just pulled it out. It's like from the Gold Series pack. And you guys remember this through a Plasma. I kind of like all these art variation artwork around that time. It's not cool as like almost the original, like like the when the secret rare like Plasma was those cards are a little more valuable like throughout the years of generation by then. And I remember Darkness Metal Dragon, which was like way back in the tens now. Now they got this cool artwork now. So this is like the second artwork of Red Darkness Metal Dragon. These are like still money though. Like you need to collect cards around there. And that hidden arsenal, that secret thing around that time, it was out. I had my tier show right here. I still have my secret rare. Well, it was a long time around that time. It's like the gold rare, like Trish, like I just used to remember around that time. So if you guys are planning to go like a Yu-Gi-Oh event, I mean I know YCS is like occurring, like still active, still virtual, but things are about to reopen around that time. And what's for me, if I'm a retired player, I know summertime's happening. I got conventions to go to, touring around there. I mean, I only buy Yu-Gi-Oh products if I'm going like a big convention, like like a Katsucon, for example. Anime Boston. I mean, some other smaller cards for like a 2-day weekend, they might have some Yu-Gi-Oh prize, but I only spent like 50 minimal, or maybe just get a structure deck, or it depends what you're to be comfortable buying, or you can just do your research or look for like a Yu-Gi-Oh set. You can just like see how much you could like spend on the money merch around it. Just like playing cards ahead of time But any big cons around that time, like Anime YC or your Comic Con, they got a lot of stuff around that time. You gotta go for Yu-Gi-Oh cards to dig around that time. So bear that past play. If you guys are up for Yu-Gi-Oh regional, I mean, you can play like from December through March if you're gonna try to compete for a regional tour. I might try like 2 or 3 times, maybe for next year. But if you're gonna try to go to World Championship qualifiers, that'd be a good opportunity to do that if you really top a lot around that format. And the decks around that time, I say you do your research. I still play Blue Eyes. That's kind of my main deck of purposes. I still have other decks too. It's mainly cosplay deck. I got a Seto Kaiba cosplay. I'm gonna be working on that one for a Seto Kaiba cosplay to get the suitcase. And I know I have the Blue Eyes White Dragon plush. You guys already saw on my Instagram. Yeah, there's a lot of decks I'm gonna try to play. I'm passing the time to do that. I still have like a reconstructed Red Eyes deck. I have a Yusei deck coming up around that time, but it's gonna be more competitive. It's just like the signature chart cards around the dual disc is active on GameStop. It's just the original Battle City dual disc you have to like get. You need to spend like $120 if you want to get an actual dual disc to be original. Any others that you gotta find, oh, good luck. You're gonna need those around that time. I say you don't wait to do your taxes or wait for the holiday season if you got a new cosplay you want to try to come back to do and just like have the actual product. Or you try to make a dual disc. That's kind of like hands on. I mean, I did make a dual disc for Dark Side Dimensions around that time. You had to, do more crafting. You do a lot of foam working. Some people do some cardboard to do. Man, that's really impressive to do. Other than that, it's like if you want to go for regionals, I say try to attend like 2 or 3 times. If you feel comfortable, go to locals in your free time. I mean, I know I do this in the winter time just to like try to get more Yu-Gi-Oh cards, fill the binder, offer people what they want for trades around that time. Because I'd be just walking around just like go to Yu-Gi-Oh locals when I was like swinging by, or oh, I could take this card around that time, or even ask the card shop around that time to see any cards around there, like worth money to do that. And they have like a bulk of comments too. Spend like $2 or $3 around that time. Depends what cards you get to pick up around that time. It's like a decent price. That's how I just got back playing around there. It's kind of weird now. Now with regionals are happening, I just gotta wait next year because I know the springtime. It's gonna be busier as hell. I already booked the plant events around there, do photo shoots around that time. It's like I don't have the time to do that. Like you can play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like if you're retired around that time, or you're just like a former player, you can just like come back and just play a little bit. It's really you want to have fun or just I just need to stress relief after like you have like a big con coming out, either like MacFest or KatsuCon. I know ZekaiCon's coming up in March too, so that you just keep those three in mind around that time. Because it gets busy sometimes around there if you get a top deck around that time. Ability share, I just like share more on like the on my cosplay channel, or maybe some like more content just to show you guys to do more box opens. I think this is gonna be a lot instead of like doing a lot of Duel Links, Master Duels, and a lot on the Twitch around there. So there's gonna be a lot of things I gotta cover up for this channel now. So I barely hope this will help if you former players are out there gonna compete on our Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals. If you don't have the time to do that, or you want to try to top them up, just think your friends or your cosplayers, your Yu-Gi-Oh! Players out there. You see you want to top around that time to go for the world. I said you want to go for it around that time. Just do like 2 or 3 times around it if you feel comfortable. You want to like compete just to get your name on the spotlight for World Nationals by then. Because I really went to Nationals like 2014 instead of getting my playmat. Oh yeah, so this is the last time I went to Nationals here. This one's like a 2014 like World Championship qualifiers here. Yeah, you see the Yatos and Guardian Death Side. I mean, I kept this playmat for a really long time around there. Like, this was my first Yu-Gi-Oh! Nationals there. It was, but yeah, it was like during the season, like yeah, I played Blue Eyes Mystic Dragons around that time. It topped a lot around that time. It's like, okay, I got lucky around that time. It's like, oh yeah, I top 32. I go to Nats around that time. That's the thing. You gotta top 32, get a good amount of like a side deck cards. So watch what your opponent is playing around that time, because they could Ash Blossom you, or Imperviance, or Fett Veiler, or add any cards around that time. Just gotta watch out, because I think this meta is kind of like everyone's adding cards to the deck. We're trying to strategize. You're just stuck in a loop right there. So if you want to go back around, I mean, you also could get one of these mats. Like, if you qualify, you're present, they give you this for free for your entry by then. Man, I sure had a long history that's winning nationals. Now this these like collect around there. This is like a souvenir I just keep around for the generations of dueling around that time. If you retire on there, you win the nats around there. You kind of know this game because a long time you played Duel Links, you played Master Duels around there. You probably know most of the cards around the world around that time because there's like over like a million cards like being made out of just like reprinted. But there were some values around that time. You still have the actual card or just like the artwork around it. It's still more valuable. But yeah, so it was pretty quick like a video to still like do. If you like, what are you gonna do? Like retire Yu-Gi-Oh, you still compete, or maybe you're a former player. I mean, help these benefits out. Like if you want to be top decking, I say just go for it around that time. If you need a break, that's like convention wise, because mainly now I'm a former player around that time. I go tournaments sometimes. I just take the time just to fill my binder around there. Some cards I got, sometimes I pulled around that time to gonna be in the binder, just like up for like for trade bait. So it's worth it. Like you go to cons around that time, and then by the winter time, I'll just get back playing. Like just at the like relax a little bit, or just like pass the time. Just go to Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments at your locals. So there, that's my advice. Just keep on going around there, and also keep cosplay Yu-Gi-Oh characters around there. Because I already did 2 already now. It's gonna be in the working process around that time. So Billy, just keep at it around that time. You just live it. Hey, I'm gonna keep my cards when I grow up around that time. All the years, generations. Autographs, Funko Pops are very much valuable now. Because now these are getting a little more tough to get now. So Billy, just keep on going. Just keep playing Yu-Gi-Oh around that time. Because usually you still have your cards on you. You get eligible to play at tournaments. Just try it out and do some test plays. Do some research too. That's the end of this video. And I hope this video will give you a lot of advice on what they can do as a former player now. So I'll see you next time, YouTube. I'm signing off right now.